Hello to the nation out there. Welcome to the very first podcast of your nation, and we have our guest Marcus Daries with us to talk about his journey to the UK, how he got here, how it's been so far, and if he still loves it. Welcome, Marcus. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Michaela.
It's been a long time coming. I appreciate you making the time for us.
It has indeed. Yeah, I'm excited to do this. I think it's good for people out there to understand like how these are South Africans living in another country and how we adapt to new environments that challenge us.
Agreed. And why don't we start by you saying a bit about how your time has been in the UK? Have you been enjoying it? What has the ride been like so far, and how long you've been here?
The ride has actually been a bit rough. I think just adapting to a new country, to a new society, and obviously being away from family has been challenging. But I think at the same time it's been rewarding. It's like learning a bit more about yourself, how you adapt to new environments, how you are when you are challenged with something and you don't know what to do and you don't know how to, I suppose, navigate it. So it's been a journey. I think the more and more that I'm here now, I'm starting to enjoy it, and I see it as home for the long term. But yeah, I mean, it's been, apart from the weather, I mean, we can't
get over that.
We can't get over that. I mean, we come from a beautiful country where the weather's amazing, and then you sit here in December and you're like, why is it cold? Why is it grey all the time?
It's not December.
It's not giving the December lifestyle that you want. So yeah, for me, it's definitely the change has been, it's been good.
Okay. So what was your main motivation for moving to the UK then?
My main motivation, I think I wanted to get a different experience of life and, kind of challenge myself in a different way, because when you live in South Africa, like you're so close to family and you sort of have the same friends all the time. Like you don't really branch out of your family group or your friendship group. Apart from that, like just for personal reasons, work as well, I think moving to another country and obviously the UK, for my industry, it provides me with more sort of a growth aspect in the tech and finance industry. So the main motivation, I would say, was to move for my career and my career growth and where I see myself going to long term.
Okay, so tell us about your career. What job did you move for?
So interestingly enough, when I started out as an accountant, and I was so aimed at, I'm going to be an accountant, this is what I'm going to do for my life, I'm going to be doing financial statements, I'm going to be helping businesses.
I was there at one point.
This is literally me, and this is what I want to do. I won't lie to you, a year into the job, I was like, I can't do this, I can't see myself doing quarter end, it stressed me out so much. I learned a lot about myself in my first job. I worked for a fund admin company, and it's very different to your traditional accounting. It's doing accounting for fund administrative companies, and kind of getting the feel of how fund admins work in various jurisdictions. So it is more of that aspect, and then I think I got put into a client that I hated so much, and that changed my perception of accounting and the job that I was doing. And then I was like, okay, what do I branch out into next? This is not what I really want to do long term. And then we went into this phase of where our company was moving systems. And they were basically putting a core project team together, and I was obviously one of the people that was selected for the project. And then the plan was to migrate all our clients onto this new software, and then I was going to be the technical lead for it, and being basically the super user for the software.
Okay, nice.
And then that I was like, okay, this is good, I'm enjoying it, I'm really enjoying it. I got to work with various teams, so from an operational team to the fund accountants to the project managers to business analysts, so I could really branch out and get hindsight into how various departments work in the organization that I work for.
And you're getting to touch so many touch points that give you an idea of what they do and actually where you want to go.
And it also provides you with various skills that you didn't even know you had before, just adaptability, because you're working with so many people, and obviously culturally it's different and people are different, so you're having to navigate when projects don't really go according to project plans, and like you having to sort of put yourself into a situation where you actually have to problem solve the situation out. Like you're not going to lean on your manager all the time, and you have to take the initiative to actually do something like on your own. And I think that's helped me a lot in like understanding where I wanted to go in my career, what do I want to do long term, where I see myself in the next 5 years, where I see myself in the industry overall. Like, do I want to change industries? Do I want to remain where I am right now? So yeah, that's really helped me a lot in so far.
So did you actually study accounting, or what did you study?
So I studied financial information systems.
Okay.
So my core modules at university was audit, financial accounting, tax, and management accounting, which I hated with all my life. Management accounting, I think any accountant will say at university management accounting is their worst subject. And then I also did core information systems as my major. So I did a bit of both. I did the information systems more as a backup. I was like, I like systems, I like understanding computers. Maybe I'm going to be doing this with my career. But my heart was sold on accounting. Okay. That's where I wanted to be.
I think mine was the same. I started in accounting and then I branched to information systems, and that's where I am now.
Yeah.
Mindset's the exact same. So back to your job. What job brought you here?
So funny enough, like as I was saying, I moved on to this project at my previous company, and we were doing basically migrating systems from where our accountants were using manual Excel, and we wanted to get everyone onto a system, and we moved over to this new system that they wanted us to utilize in the company. And then with that, I met a project lead and I was put onto one of her projects.
Okay.
And then at the beginning of January 2022, I moved into that role, and I was basically like responsible for helping to lead projects, to sort of get our existing clients at the time onto the software and helping them, kind of helping our fund accountants to migrate data. And with that, my manager at the time, which I moved onto the team to be with her, she resigned. And I was like, okay, this is like taking a turn. I moved here and I was like, I wanted to work with this person because they have the skill set that I want to learn from and all of that.
Like a mentor.
Like a mentor type of thing. And then they moved on and I was like, I don't know what to do now, because like now I'm back to square one. I'm hating this again because now there's change, firstly. There's a new manager with a different management style. The team is being taken into a different direction, and I'm not necessarily feeling like I'm the best now fit for this role. And it became more challenging in the sense that the work became more demanding because we were in acquisition stage with another company, and there was various external factors that were beyond my control that I couldn't necessarily be a part of, but I had to do the work anyway. And then she started at the current company that I'm at now, and she was like, look, Marcus, there's like a role available. Initially I was like, okay, maybe they're gonna open an office in South Africa, and like this is gonna be me like helping them start up this new business in South Africa and helping on that level. She's like, but you have to be in the UK.
Exciting.
I was like, okay, that's like gonna take a bit of a shift. I was like, okay, I'll do the interview, like not thinking anything about it. Like I was just like, this is for funsies. Like I am just gonna like scale through the interview. Like I'm not gonna take this serious. See how it goes. Like not take it serious at all. Then I had the interview with like the head of like client service at this current company, and we just having a conversation. Like we just wanted to know like my technical capabilities and like why I want to move to another country, like what's challenging me to move. And I did the interview not thinking anything. And then I was like, I didn't get this, like I just did it for fun, like I'm not going to take it too serious. And then they called me for a second interview, and I was like, okay, this is getting too real for me. Like I probably need to take this seriously because I need to like move to another country, and like this is going to be a huge change. And then I did the second interview, and then I was like, and then I was like, okay, like the second interview went well, like it's with my current manager that I'm at now with this company, like he basically just like also just wanted to get to know me, wanting to understand like why I want to move, like what's the purpose for moving, and like what is the, like how can I be a contribution to like the company that I'm at right now. And I did that also thinking nothing about it, like just being, you know, just nonchalant about it, like just, and not forcing myself in any situation to be moving or to be in a different role. And I was like, okay. And then within a month I got the job. Like I think that was like October 2022, and they wanted me to start in January. And at the same time I'm like, okay, I'm getting married in December. A lot of things are happening in my personal life, but now I need to also move countries. And then within like 3 months of that, like I was literally found myself in the UK in the middle of winter.
Upside down.
My world, like literally in the span of 6 months, like shifted completely. Just with one small change that I did.
You're actually quite blessed because a lot of people have to search for the job. The job came knocking at your door.
Literally. But I also think like apart from that is like I built a network. Like I built a network, and you build those relationships with people, and like out of those relationships, like other things span out. I do agree, like I'm blessed in many ways to have been afforded the opportunity. But I think a lot of times like building relationships with people in the companies that you're at, and like building that network like helps you in the long term, because you never know what happens in 5 years. Like someone that you worked with before, they'll hit you up and be like, look, Michaela, you're looking for someone, like, are you interested? And you don't think anything about it, but you go about doing it just because you had that relationship with someone and you know you can work with them. So for me, a lot of that was like, I'm able to work with this person, like I do see myself working with them, and like I want to be doing this long term, like and building, you know, that sort of network. So I think that's one of like the fundamentals when like you start out in your career. Like the biggest thing that you can do apart from learning the skill that you need to do the job, like that's I feel like that's a small aspect, because anyone can just learn and do the job, like it can become repetitive, but it's the impact that you make in those relationships with people that sort of shift where you're going to in your career, because then people see you more as a person that I can work with rather than the person that can actually just do the job.
So actually, in like to summarize your whole journey, you were with company A. You then you established relationships in company A, and then your manager who you wanted to work with, she moved to another company. Was that company in the UK? Company B was in the UK.
Company B was in the UK.
So she moved over to the UK.
She was really in the UK. So we were like a cross-functional team. So like she was in the UK already, and then while she lives here, and then like because we had like cross-functional teams in different parts of locations around the world. A lot of that was like where you just worked cross-functionally.
So you made this relationship with someone abroad.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you moved from company A to company B here in the UK to then reunite with your awesome manager who got you this job. Who basically got you the job. That is so cool.
Yeah. So
and now that you are here in the UK and you are kind of doing the same kind of job that you had that you did in South Africa, what would you say is the main differences or similarities? Is it the culture, with regards to culture, or just the working environment?
I think a bit of both. I think the culture and the working environment is a bit different. Like the company that I moved to was a lot smaller, so everyone's more of like close knit, and everyone works together in like trying to achieve like the common goal. Culturally in the UK, I think things are a bit different to South Africa. Like here, like culture is that you work from 9 to 5 perhaps. Whereas back at home, like just in my personal experience, I had more of a flexibility. Like, okay, I can start early and maybe finish at 5 or 4, and then people wouldn't really like question it. But like I feel like here, when you leave early, people are like, okay, but it's like 5 o'clock, like you should still be working. So I think that's the main shift culturally that I had to get used to, and also just people overall, like British people are different in a sense where they are more deserved and they are more like keep to themselves. We South Africans, we are open people. Like we talk to anyone, we greet anyone, we create conversation with people. Like we don't really hold anything back. And we're just a friendly nation. Not to say that British people aren't. I just think that the lifestyle here is different and it caters for different things.
I do agree. I feel like people here are already, or British people, they're already in their cliques.
Yes.
They're already in their groups of people. They're not really looking to make friends.
Exactly.
But as expats, we do want to make connections.
Yeah,
so I think we come with a different mindset.
Yeah.
That's something we have to realize. Not everyone has that same mindset.
Not everyone. Yeah, and what comes with that obviously is like you experience out of it. I think you start to see how life is different outside of South Africa. Like how you in South Africa, like we are so accustomed to our culture and how we are, and then when you get thrown into something, we're like, okay, this is different to back at home, and you start longing for that homey feeling. But again, it's like those things are for a season, and you can grow out of it, and you can grow into something that you can actually see yourself adapting to.
I think if you stay in the mindset of, oh, this is different to South Africa, and harp on the negative, you never fully enjoy. You need to immerse yourself in the culture.
You do, and that's the biggest thing. Like you're saying, immerse yourself into the culture. That's like the biggest thing that a lot of people that move to another country, they struggle a lot with, because they try and replicate the lifestyle that they had back at home, and you can't do that. Like you can't do that in another country. Like people are just different, and life is different. So you have to be adaptable to that environment that you are in. And you actually have to be patient with yourself. I don't think people are for me, I struggled a lot in the beginning to be patient with myself, because I was like, it's a new country. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to not know everything. It's okay to struggle with my job at first, because culture is different, people are different, the working environment is different, and I'm having to learn new things. So just that patient and being constantly present, not overthinking the situation. It is hard, but just being patient with yourself.
You need to give yourself grace.
You have to.
Definitely.
Otherwise you'll go mental. Like you'd literally be like, I can't do this, I want to go back home. And you fixate on that for such a long time. And it obviously affects your personal life as well, because you start not enjoying going out, or not being able to make the friends that you need to build that new community that you need.
No, definitely. I saw you join the church here, and you have quite the community now.
I did join a church here. It's a community of expats, I would say. So that has helped a lot. Meeting people from Australia, New Zealand, Malaysia, getting to know different cultures that I wasn't necessarily exposed to back at home. So it's been an enjoyable ride. I think church has been the one constant in mine and my wife's life throughout our period of living here. Even though our environments at work has changed around us, that's been the one thing that I think kept us here, and like the glue to like be like, okay, you can actually see yourself survive life here.
And when you sprung the decision, or when you told your wife that you got a job in the UK, what was her reaction?
Her first question is like, are we really going to do this? And I was like, yes, we are. I think for her in the beginning, it was like, it's new. And I think just in terms of personalities, myself and my wife, like we were, like I'm wholeheartedly, I'll be like, okay, it's new, like let's do this. She's more like, okay, but like what if this and this? So she overthinks the situation.
It's realism sometimes.
It's realism, and like sometimes I feel like I'm living in a fairy tale world where like I think like everything's gonna be perfect, we're gonna be doing all these things, but at the same time for her, she was like, but it's gonna be challenging because we're gonna be away from family, and we're not necessarily gonna have like our community with us. So smart lady. Not so much of a smart guy that she's with sometimes, because he just makes
give yourself some credit.
Sometimes I just make decisions, and then she would be like, are we really making that decision now? I'd be like, yes, and I'll just go for the ride. Where she is more of a realist in the situation.
So what did she do back home, and what is she doing now?
She was a teacher, so more in the public school sector back at home. So working very much in like the areas like in Mitchell's Plain, and schools around those surrounding areas. So she's been a teacher for most of her career as well. Like she's not worked in any other industry. So for her, moving to a new country and the kids are different has been also like something that she's had to adapt to, because in South Africa, like you sitting with so many kids in your class and you kind of have to be the parent.
Yeah.
And you kind of, because sometimes when you work in areas of that expertise, like especially in teaching, you kind of the catch-all situation. You're the parent, you sometimes the main carer, you are the person that's constant in their lives for like 6 to 8 hours a day. So for her, moving here was different. The kids are different. The environment that she's in, the schooling environment, was also a lot different. In opposed to the fact that she's having to now navigate a new schooling system, new curriculum, having to teach kids differently, and also kids start school at a younger age here. So for example, our kids will start school at like 7 years old. She's teaching year ones, which is like equivalent to like grade 2 in South Africa, and they're like 6-7 year olds, like they basically still babies, like, and she's having to navigate that, which is obviously brings a shift in the working environment for her as well.
That must have been tough, because dealing with kids it's tough in itself, but now a whole different culture. That's a whole different ballgame. But back to you and your career move. Without disclosing salary, do you think that with your level of experience and where you are now, do you think that it was worth a move to the UK?
I definitely think so. I think the career progression, I think I've moved much faster in my career here than what I would have done back at home. And I feel like back in South Africa, like I would have been limited in the sense of where I would have had to sort of, I want to say fight for the next position, because the industry is obviously different and it becomes, not to say that it's not competitive here, but it's competitive in a different way where people, like my manager wants me to succeed, he wants me to move to the next level. At my previous company, I felt like it was very different that you progress each year, and that you're limited to that only in that year. You're not expanding multiple times within a year to a different role. Whereas here, I've learned so much skills that's put me into situations where I had to be like, okay, this is something that I see myself doing long term.
Do you think that was company specific in South Africa, or do you think that it was generally the culture within that industry?
I think it's a bit of both company specific and industry. I think for me, it was my only company in South Africa that I worked for, so I don't have anything else really to compare to. Which when I moved from that company, I moved immediately to the UK. So for me, it's like, okay, the change from that company to new company, it was like, okay, this is a bit different, like working environments are different. So yeah, I definitely think it's more so company specific in that industry.
And from a personal perspective, what was your lifestyle like in South Africa and compared to here, and is that worth it?
Lifestyle, I think we had more of a bit of a relaxed lifestyle, if you could say. Like life was generally much slower for us. Like we would do like your basic things. You mean go to cafes, go to like the beach, because it's so easily accessible. So lifestyle for us was pretty much slow paced, where I think here it's become very fast. You start planning things with people like 3-4 months in advance.
You have to look at your calendar.
You have to like everyone's friends, but now you're sitting all out and like, okay, I'm not available on this day. Can you make it like for this day? Because everyone has such a different friendship group, and it's more diverse here, where people are friends with different people, and like you start planning things out 3 to 6 months. Planning your holidays out like a year before the time, and that was like next level to me. But lifestyle, I'm enjoying it now. Like I'm enjoying where myself and my wife are at, where things are going, and the fact that you get to travel and like explore life from a different perspective.
That's nice. And what is one thing that you wish you knew before you moved here?
One thing that I wished, that things are always not going to go according to plan. I think I had this fixation in my mind that it's going to be a perfect life and things are going to be perfect, and like a lot of the time when you move to a different country you envision life to be perfect, like you envision everything is going to go smoothly, you're not going to have any issues, like life is just going to be this fairy tale. And I think from that I had to soon realize that the problems that you face back at home are still there. Like you kind of when you move, like those things don't go away. You're still gonna have the same challenges. Like life is different here, so you're still gonna have that same things, but it's how you navigate the situation. And I think that's the main thing. Like I wish I knew like before I moved, like how, like you're never gonna know until you're in the situation, but being open-minded to the fact that it is going to be challenging, it is not going to be the same, and like the consistency is always not going to be there. And the friendship groups that you create are going to be, the people's always not going to be the same. Like you're constantly going to be meeting new people. So yeah, I'm giving myself grace for it now because that's important. But yeah.
Well done. You have to give yourself grace that the journey has not been easy for us either. And I'm sure if you speak to every South African who has moved here, the journey has not been easy.
And everyone's stories are different. Like everyone's feelings toward things are different, and like everyone's story coming or moving to another country is different. People have various different reasons for moving. People sometimes do it for lifestyle, people do it for career,
love.
People do it for love. I mean, people have long distance relationships for years and then they end up moving to the country for that person. So everyone's journeys are different, and I think what I like about South Africans is that everyone's stories are different. Everyone's stories are different, but somehow everyone has similar aspects on how they navigate things. So I think that's rewarding in a sense when you hear about someone's story and how they navigate it. You can actually sympathize with them because you've been in a similar situation in various stages of being in another country or at some point in your journey. So I think that at the same time as South Africans, I find that very heartwarming when I hear South African stories of how they moved and how, like, the reasons of why they do it. Like it's so nice to hear how much change people want. And like what they want to do with their life.
And there's a thread. Like I was telling, I spoke to a group of South Africans recently, and there's just like a thread that goes through each of our stories that's the same. Like there's a struggle, but then there's like, I made it to the top of the mountain. And then the next thing it's a struggle again. You're going downhill. But that's life.
That's
I think even in South Africa, you go through peaks and troughs in your life. It's just you have people. You have people
family.
there, you have family that helps you. But you're on your own until you build your community, until you find your people, until you join a church. And a lot of people ask me, like, what should I do? I just moved here. I said, join a church. That's the easiest way. Or go to your mosque, or go join a reading club.
A club or something. Or just like build that network, because that network is gonna sort of carry you as you are here in or in another country as your journey goes along. And I think that's important. And I think for myself, like, just to stay constant, like do it, like push yourself constantly. Like as soon as you see something takes a dip, like just persevere through the situation. It's easy like to say to someone like persevere through it, but at the end of the day you want to be able to say like, I struggled through this, but there was a reward at the end.
I made it. I made it out. I think we can learn a lot from you today. A lot of positives, and I think it's because it's where you at in your current journey. I think you are at the top of the mountain right now, looking down at those struggles, and I think that's a good place to be. But I suppose if we spoke to you in the first 6 months, it would have been a very different conversation.
It would have been a very different conversation. I would have probably told you I hated it all my life, but I think just going along with the journey and just being present has helped a lot in the situation.
Amen. I love that. So, what would be the title of your book if the book contained your journey in the UK?
Wow, that's actually a good question.
I'll remind that may
give me some sort of
time to think. I would say connections, because I am an extrovert by nature. and I get energy from other people. So my time in the UK has been about making new connections with people all over the world, as well as South Africans. Like I've built a big network from my TikTok page, but I've made friends with Brazilians, with Americans, with Peruvians, and that's been so good for me. Like it taught me that I'm not just a South African, but I'm a global citizen.
Yes.
So the title of mine would be connections.
Okay, that's actually good. I think mine would definitely be journey. Like I think the journey that I've been on in my career, in my personal life, has definitely led to the person that I am today, and how I see how I can help other people in attaining where they want to go, and maybe give them some advice on like how to navigate the situation that I might have found myself in, or that I can see that's possibly similar. So for me, it would definitely be journey, or journey that your journey is unlimited. Like there's always something new to learn. There's always a new avenue to go in, and just be patient with yourself.
It's about the ride, not
it is
the
about the
destination.
ride, and the ride is tough, but it's also rewarding at the end.
And on that note, we thank Marcus for being here today. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your story with us. It's really appreciated. Thank you for also sharing your wife's story. We wish she could be here today to share this out, but thank you nevertheless. So everyone, I hope you learned something from Marcus' journey, and we'll catch up with you in a few months to see how it's going.
Definitely looking forward to that.
But thank you for your time. See you next time. Bye.